this is Brennan Wilmington of the Left Turn Network, and welcome back to another Lumen Stock Car Invitational race. This is season number 4, race number 11 at the Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois. And we are back on the 1.5 mile tracks after a couple of short tracks and then a super speedway. So, more of the typical kind of racing that we see here after a bit of a break from the chaos. But don't get it wrong, there could definitely still be chaos here. Last year, of course, some of us remember the pass on the last lap that George Bryan made on Jack Gino, and that was a very good finish in LSCI, and we could definitely get another one here today. Joined alongside me in the booth once again is Anthony McClure. And Anthony, what is your experience with this racetrack? What are you expecting to see here?
I honestly don't really have a lot of experience with Chicagoland, but I expect it to be a pretty exciting race. 1.5 mile racetrack, and as you said last year, there was a pretty exciting finish at the end with George Bryan taking the win. But I expect it to be like most mile and a halves. It's kind of similar to that, but the backstretch is a bit of a curve as well, so it's kind of like almost like a circle. So not sure what to expect, but I hope it's exciting.
Yeah, that curved back straightaway makes speeds a little bit faster here, and it's pretty funny. We're not going to be running that much slower than we were at Daytona because this track is so fast, but it is pretty slick as well. So we could see some drivers maybe getting into each other, and it also chews away at the tires because this is an older surface. Anthony, how big of an impact do you expect the tire wear to have today?
Um, well, it's a slick surface, so they're going to be sliding around a bit. Maybe that'll wear the tires out somewhat. Uh, Depends, really. It depends on what the strategy is, what most crew chiefs' strategies are, and what setups they have in the car currently. And it'll be interesting to see if maybe this will become maybe a fuel mileage finish or something like that.
There are 2 pit stops expected, and I don't expect a fuel strategy finish at the end like it was last year unless we get the cautions to fall right, which is definitely possible. We almost had fuel strategy at Daytona based on where the cautions fell, but we didn't end up seeing any of that, which is kind of funny because in the Lumen 500 last year we got unexpected fuel mileage, and then in the one where we were expecting it, we didn't get it. So that's pretty interesting. But that's Daytona. This is Chicagoland. Here is your starting lineup for today's race. On the pole is Lakin Herndon in the 39, who's been on a bit of a hot streak as of late. He's got 6 top 10s in the 9 races that he's run. He DNQ'd Coda earlier in the season. And alongside him is the 88 car of Billy Smith. Row number 2 is the 92 of Kate Summers and the 40 of Adrian Wheeler. Row number 3 is the 81 of Jack Gino and the 45 of James Harvin. Row 4 is the 11 of Tim Berry, the points leader by 51 points. And alongside him is the 27 of Adrian Pearson. Then it's the 18 of Zach Dearman and the 32 of Gianni McJasmina. Then it's the 1 of Kevin DuPont and the 3 of George Bryan. The 19 car of Jake Sidney, your Lumen 500 winner, and the 79 of Kobe Hollenbeck. Then it's the 6 car of Holly Martin and the 9 of Lori Jackson. Then you got the 66 of Tyler Landry and the 58 of Joanna Clark. Corbin Taps in the number 16, alongside the 29 of JB Chanot. The number 65 of Tamarin Bellinger, alongside the 62 of Vinny Scholes. We're in row 11 right now. Row number 12, Michael Harvin in the 55, who got into an incident with Jake Sidney in qualifying and is now pretty heated at Jake Sidney because Sidney kind of sent it into turn 1 and wrecked him. So we'll see. We might have a bit of a rivalry brewing there. And alongside him is the 42 of Lulu Connie. Then it's the 85 of Charlie McCarron and the 24 of Cooper Spur. The 35 car of Rebecca Raymond and the 99 of Akia Tajima. The 50 of Jacob Lopez and the 41 of Karina Willis Calloway. And then you got another driver that's been on a hot streak as of late, Darren Walker in the 8. He's going to have to start from the back again, just like he did at Daytona. And the 77 car of JT Boyd. Then it's the 57 of Shauna Everett and the 70 of Andrew Kreider. And rounding out the field today is Ashley Blake in the 52. We had 3 DNQs from this race. They were Bridget Brousseau driving the 3rd Blake Everett Motorsports car, the 13 of Damon Kirby, and the 2 car of Oscar Duval. This is going to be a 67-lap race. Again, we're expecting 2 stops in this race. They're probably going to pit around lap number 26 or 27 at first, maybe a couple of laps later than that. We'll see. We'll see how it ends up shaking out. All right.
Drivers, to your cars.
I am doing this race with a migraine, so I might ask you to do a little more carrying than usual, but
You got it.
I should be okay.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the field will roll off the back straightaway here at the Chicagoland Speedway. No issues with the cars as they roll off. Anthony, there's a lot of drivers up here that are still looking for their first win of the season, despite us having 10 different winners in 10 races. Do you think that trend is going to continue, or do you think we're going to get a repeat winner for the first time? Who do you think is going to win?
Well, I'm looking at that hot pink 11 back there, Tim Berry. I have a feeling that today he continues to grow his points lead, and starting from 7th, he'll make his way up through the field and win here at Chicagoland, but we'll see as we're about to get underway.
Green flag in the air. Herndon and Smith lead them off, and we are underway here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Oh,
Tim Berry immediately going 4 wide for second off the start of the race. There's another row of 4 wide behind them. Lake and Herndon will lead lap number 1, but it is absolute pandemonium behind them. They're 5 wide for second. There's no way they're going to get out of it.
how are they
Berry's
going to
clear them all. George Bryan's going to try and follow. Jamie McJasmine as well. There's just no way that they're going to be able to survive this, right? There's no way. Oh, Billy Smith gets into the wall. The 9 car is in the grass. Lori Jackson, can she save it? No, she can't. She gets into the 85. They're going to wreck. And there it is.
Oh,
hard
goodness
into the wall.
gracious.
Sydney's on his side. Adrian Pearson involved. And that's the 3rd place car in points. Charlie McCarron, Billy Smith, and Joanna Clark involved as well. Sydney upside down. Back to the line. Herndon's going to get there first, followed by Berry and McJasmine. They were just being way too aggressive on the start of the race.
There was no way that was going to work. 4 wide for 1 lap is fine, but this track isn't wide enough for 4 wide, like, say, Talladega, and they just kept going 4 wide. A little bit of 5 wide as well, and yeah, that cost Charlie McCarron a possible good finish today. Very unfortunate.
Jake Sidney wins the Lumen 500 one week, and the next week he ends up upside down on lap 3. Boy, that is a tough break, and it was Lori Jackson that was the one that went to the grass. Billy Smith was the one that got the wall first, but really it was just a variety of factors coming together. Oh. Most of the cars are coming in and pitting on lap 4. Jack Gino and Corbin Taps, however, are going to stay out.
Interesting strategy, I guess. I'm not sure how well their tires are going to hold up. You said that the surface is kind of old, and we'll see if 4 tires really means anything here as everybody gets into their pit stalls.
George Bryan just got hit in his pit box.
Oof.
And that's going to be a problem. He's going to get teleported back. You saw him blink there. He got run into by Zach Dearman and kind of got out of shape. So he is going to lose a lot of time in the pits. And it looks like something similar might have happened to Adrian Wheeler. No, he's fine. He's leaving now. But
Just
that's
a slow
tough
stop for the 40.
Yeah, just a slow stop for the 40, but that's a tough break for the 3 car of George Bryan. He should be able to get back out there, but he might end up going a lap down.
Okay, from the looks of it, I don't think anybody took 4 tires. It looks like a lot of quick pit stops. Maybe some took 2, maybe some took fuel only.
We have some that took fuel only, and then we have some that took 4. It looks like. I don't quite know how to read these like Echo does, so I'm just going off the time. So some of them were only a couple of seconds, and some of them were about 15 seconds. So varying strategy in the pits as well, in terms of when and what they decide to pit for. But already got our first caution of the race on lap number 6. Jack Gino is now the leader. He and Corbin Taps stayed out. Darren Walker appears to have been the first one out of the pit lane. And we'll show you a replay of what happened, and we'll get back to the restart here at Chicagoland. Well, this incident started all the way in turn 4. You see the 4 wide in front of them. Billy Smith's going to get into the wall, come down the track, and Lori Jackson, just an evasive maneuver to try and avoid an accident, and ironically ends up starting an accident here. She slides through the grass here, tries to collect it, and when she rejoins the track, she hooks the 85, and this is where it starts getting really big as the 85 comes up the track right into Joanna Clark, hard into the wall for Jake Sidney, and then he gets tipped over by Billy Smith. Adrian Fearson gets a piece of it as well, but it looks like she might be fine. She just kind of locks it down and slides. Lori Jackson scoots by with minimal impact, and then the 19 sliding on his roof down the banking. That's definitely not how he wanted to back up his Lumen 500 win, and the worst part is it wasn't his fault. He just got cleaned out, and you just got to feel bad for these drivers like Billy Smith and Joanna Clark for ending up in a wreck so early in the race.
So coming out of turn 4, they're 4 wide here, and there goes Jackson into the grass. Kind of an evasive maneuver, like Brennan said, and then she slides up the racetrack into McCarran. McCarran really should have slowed down if she wanted to rejoin the race. And poor Jake Sidney goes for a wild ride from hero to zero, winning the Lumen 500, and now up on his roof, out of the race. Very unfortunate for all these drivers, especially for McCarran, being a championship contender. She's out early. Very unfortunate for her and her championship hopes.
Welcome back here at the Chicagoland Speedway. We're wrapping up our first caution of the race. Billy Smith, Jake Sidney, and Charlie McCarran all out of the race. That's a huge points blow for McCarran, who was 3rd in points. George Bryan is now a lap down after being held up in the pits, but he is now back out there, and he might be able to get in line for the restart just in time. Jack Gino is your leader. Corbin Taps in 2nd. Neither of them came in and pitted. The 8 of Darren Walker is restarting in 3rd, and then it's Laken Herndon and Tim Berry rounding out the top 5. We've still got 60 more laps of this, and the green flag is back out, and we are back underway here at Chicagoland.
Oh, there goes Walker.
Walker and Berry both going down to the inside. Berry pushed it 4 wide off the start, got all the way up to 2nd from that, and now he's looking underneath the 8 and the 16. He's going to try and make another big move for 2nd.
Oh man, he's being very aggressive to start off this race.
He's got a 51-point cushion. I'm wondering why he's being so aggressive. They're sliding up the track further back, but they're going to keep it together.
Oh goodness.
That was a bit hairy right there. Zach Dearman's going to make it 3 wide. That's the 2nd place driver in points. He slid up into the 50 car a little bit. Dearman has been slowly bleeding spots to the 11 car, and once again, the 11 car is outrunning him. So he is going to have to try and find some way to catch up to him. I know it's only race 11 of 28, but with the gap that Barry's building up, you got to try and get as many spots as you can to keep up with him.
I think Dearman is trying to do what Barry did off the start. Be aggressive, make up positions. You got to catch up to that 11 and cut that point sweep down as much as you can.
Now off of turn 1 and 2, if these guys really commit to the outside lane, they can get a big runoff there like you see at Las Vegas sometimes. But it's harder to get because you really got to be committed to that lane in order to make it work. You can't just kind of slide up there and get it. You saw Dearman kind of try to do it right there, but he didn't get as much momentum as he wanted. But the front 4 have broken away. Jack Gino has maintained the lead. Tim Berry second, then Darren Walker. And how about the part-time driver for Pacific Racing, Jami McJasmine? She's been impressive on the start of this race, up in fourth.
Very impressive for her, especially considering that she DNQ'd the Lumen 500 last race, and she's hoping for a great finish in a part-time role. Meanwhile, we still got 3 wide.
Lakin Herndon's bled spots ever since that restart. He's getting put on the outside 3 wide, but here you see him trying to put the outside to work.
Oh.
It also works a lot better later in the run as well. He might have gotten more of a run up top if he didn't get blocked by the 66 there. Holly Martin and Tyler Landry, a couple of McPickey Motorsports cars making moves there. Jami McJasmine is going to go for third here on the 8 of Darren Walker. Closing in behind them is Zach Dearman and James Harvin, and Dearman's going to try and pass James Harvin to the inside for fifth.
The Monster Energy on a different car besides the 11, might I mention.
Yeah, Landry's got Monster Energy on it this week. That's basically the case for any time that Tim Berry has T-Mobile. Landry will usually have Monster on it instead. And he's losing a couple spots now to Adrian Wheeler and Kate Summers. Ashley Blake has shown up just outside the top 10. Once again, showing that she definitely is a good driver and a solid car. But every week, something seems to happen to her, except the Lumen 500. She actually got a decent finish in that race, P14. Maybe this could be the start of a turnaround for this 52 camp. And there's the lap down 3 car. George Bryan trying to get his lap back. He's hoping for a caution because then he'll get the free pass. But, you know, if he doesn't get one, he's going to try and get it back the old-fashioned way. But he's still got quite a ways to go before he can even think about doing that. And I think I see a lap car, the 70 of Andrew Kreider.
Way off the pace.
Not sure what happened to him. I think he took an extra pit stop, actually. Weird. He's a lap down, so unscheduled stop for the 70 car. Not quite sure what the issue is, but he is now 1 lap down.
That doesn't affect George Bryan at all, does it?
No, because the 70's behind the 3, so if the caution comes out now, then Bryan would get the free pass still. Holly Martin has flown through the field. She is now all the way up to P3. She won at Rockingham, but hasn't really done a whole lot since. But she is up here now, right in front of James Harvin, and they are getting dicey here for position. That's 2 of the Pacific cars right there. Jami McJasmine and Kate Summers battling for position with Adrian Wheeler. Darren Walker's found himself behind these guys.
I'm afraid we're about to go 4 wide again. It looks like these drivers are very aggressive, but looks like we'll be fine.
They file it back down to 2 wide, which is definitely a lot more manageable.
Gino's done a good job keeping his lead. I'm very impressed compared to Herndon and Taps, who have fallen through the field. Gino's been up here using the clean air to his advantage and keeping the lead to a minimum.
Yeah, Taps, who did not come in last time like the 81 did, is all the way down in 16th right now. But Gino's been able to maintain the lead. And, you know, he almost won this race last year, got passed on the last lap, albeit it was due to strategy that he got himself up there first. But you gotta imagine that he's gonna want to win at this track if he got close already. And he's got a trio of Chevys chasing after him. And they're pretty spread out at the front of the field, but back here, it's still pandemonium. How about the 3rd Pacific Racing car showing up? Vinny Scholes, good run for the team so far. We'll see if they can manage that. And they're 3 wide in the pack here as Landry gets put up to the top side. George Bryan's still making moves on the inside. He's got fresher tires than everybody because he pitted a little bit later. I wonder if that has something to do with it or if he just has a fast car under him.
I wonder if this is annoying to any of the cars on the lead lap, seeing George Bryan make aggressive moves a lap down, trying to get his lap back. Do you think that would annoy some of these drivers, Brennan?
Definitely, if they're battling for position and then the lap car takes them 3 wide, I imagine that's not going to go over well. But, you know, he's got his own goal as well. The 8 car just slid away up the track. The 52 almost got into him. The 92 might have brushed the wall a bit. They're getting absolutely crazy back here. And this is the battle for, I believe, 6th position.
Oh, Ashley Blake.
Blake's running the 8 up the track, and the 8's
Fall
gonna
wide
get
again.
into the wall.
Oh, dearie me.
And he's gonna
We're
fall
good.
way back. JT Boyd right in the middle of this as well. I would not want to be in the middle of all this. This is absolute pandemonium. I definitely envy the drivers that are up here in the top 5 that don't have to deal with that. And the 6 car actually
Holly
got
Martin.
past Tim Barry. So Holly Martin's looking very fast right now. She might be a factor in this race win. We'll see if she can close in on Jack Gino over the next few laps.
Slid up a bit in turn 4, so I imagine that she's going to lose some time to Gino here.
Yeah, but now we got a couple of McPicky Motorsports cars. Will they try to work together to get by the Hudson Motorsports car? I mean, these are the 2 winningest teams in Cup right now. Hudson Motorsports has 3 wins. McPicky has 4. They've really been the ones winning most of the races, so once
really
again,
shows the parity this league has. Sorry.
yeah, they've won 7 of the 10 races so far, but they've each been with a different driver, which is very interesting to me. All 4 of the McPicky drivers have been to victory lane, and all 3 of the Hudson cars have. So really, if you're driving for one of those 2 teams, you're looking pretty good right now. You're gonna get a win this season. And the 6 is running down the 81, running a bit of a higher line than the 81, and she's gonna cross him under. Oh, is he gonna try and block? He tried to, but Martin was able to get the nose down.
She's got room.
Sliding up the track a little bit.
No, not quite. Gino's trying to fight back.
She definitely has better tires than the 81. I imagine she took tires, considering how fast she went up through the field. But they're still side by side battling for this lead. Gino is not giving up. James Harvin's trying to pass Tim Barry back there, and Martin has cleared for the race lead on lap 25.
Some very good driving right there by Holly Martin. I don't know where she restarted, but she flew through the field, it seemed like.
Yeah, she was back in about 8th or 9th when we checked on her, and then all of a sudden she was up in 3rd, so she powered through that wad of cars pretty quickly. Adrian Wheeler, Kate Summers, Ashley Blake, they've kind of... Rebecca Raymond is in the top 10. Where did she come from?
Where did that speed come from? All year.
She's been struggling to make races. When she does get into the races, she's had a couple of good runs. I think she had a top 10 at COTA, or at least close to it. I think she finished 11th, but still, she had a good run at COTA. Really, her biggest problem has been qualifying for races, and she's gotten into this one, and she's taking advantage of it. Jamie McJasmine about to lose her top 10 position to Michael Harvin here. And this pack that was super crazy earlier, there's still some parts that are pretty crazy. The 8 and 66 included, 2 drivers that have been on fire lately, and the 39, but they've all fallen to the back. Look at where Corbin ended up. Like, compared to where Gino was, back in 26. So that gamble
car is struggling.
That gamble did not pay off for Corbin Taps, but it might have paid off for Jack. Actually, where is Jack Gino? He's pitting right now.
Oh, he's pitting. He's pitting.
So he's going to be the first one to come in, and I imagine Corbin Taps will follow eventually.
Looks like he'll stay out another lap.
Yeah, there's Gino coming in by himself. He is going to be the first one in. And Holly Martin is now pulling away from the 11 and the 45 and the 18. But you gotta think, these drivers that came in and pitted under the caution, they can go a few more laps than the drivers that didn't. So what lap should we expect them to come in?
Not sure about that. Look at Bellinger.
Cameron Bellinger up in 11th. Anthony, you definitely like seeing that. Bellinger drove for your team last year in amateurs. It's been a really rough season for Bellinger at Diamond Motorsports, but they're looking pretty good right now, running in P11.
Yeah, I imagine that helps. I think maybe some more drivers pitted. I'm not sure, but good run for her so far. Yeah.
The 8 and the 16 are both in. I don't think the 8 took tires last time he came into the pits, so that would make sense, but he's gotten his tires on now here on lap 31. Taps will leave as well. And there you saw Gino out on the racetrack.
Mm-hmm. I think that proves the theory that Darren Walker just took fuel only, probably.
James Harvin trying to find a way around the 11 of Tim Berry, they've been in a battle for quite a bit now, and this is good for James Harvin to try and retake the lead of that Rookie of the Year race. He had a pretty firm lead over it in the start of the year, but he's been slipping lately, and Jake Sidney's been surging. But now that Sidney's out of the race, this is a good opportunity for him.
Definitely helps Dearman as well if he decides to follow Harvin. Never mind.
Harvin's
He's
in the pits. So he's going to try and undercut the cars around him. His brother Michael Harvin's going to follow him.
Boyd as well. Wuukani. Looks like Tajima and Jacob Lopez all pitting.
That's 3 Motor Racing Ventures cars on the same strategy here.
Very
Tim
interesting.
Berry is closing in on the 6th car, but I imagine these guys are going to come in and pit here soon.
Looks like Dearman is going to pit.
Yep, Dearman coming in now, and a lot of other cars from the top 10 also coming in. And this is interesting, pitting lap 33, 34. We might...
It's about close to halfway.
Yeah, we might have the same situation we had last year where we might have a very late pit cycle. So this could get very interesting here at Chicagoland, except this one's more natural because we had that early yellow.
Oh, Martin's staying out another lap. Or, never mind.
That was a very late pit entry there. Maybe she was looking to see what the 11 was going to do. And this should bring everybody else in. So we'll watch what happens here in the pit lane as we've got drivers leaving their boxes as others come in.
Oh, very busy, very dangerous.
Jasmine, Bellinger, Everett, and Raymond also came in. Everett's done with her stops. George Bryan is the last one to pit here.
Martin, gonna be a race off of pit road.
And Barry is gonna beat Martin off of the pits. So Barry was able to make the pass in pit road, but he doesn't have the lead because Jack Gino has. He has a massive lead over these guys, but he is going to be on more worn tires than everyone else. Harvin's going to move up to 2nd. Barry's going to slot into 3rd. JT Boyd.
Look at JT.
Boyd's going to gain some spots out of this, at least in the short term. Darren Walker as well. Oh, the 6 is holding up the 8 and the 55.
Boy. 6 trying to get up to speed, slowing up Harvin. Michael Harvin, to be specific.
Oh, Blake sends it into the the corner in 1 and 2. Here's Dearman. He's back in 9th now. So he lost some spots in the pits, at least initially. We'll have to see how big this lead is for Gino. Last time by, it was 4.6 seconds, which is quite a large lead. But it's cut down to 4.4.
I wonder if that massive lead is going to help him.
It could potentially help him. He's not really in the draft with anyone, though, and draft is important on this racetrack, considering how fast they're going. 180 through the corners. So, and they top 200 sometimes on the straightaway. So, these drivers that are all in a group, like Barry, Boyd, Michael Harvin, and Ashley Blake, might, and not only are they in a pack, they have fresher tires as well. So I imagine they're going to close in eventually on Jack Gino. It's just a matter of if Gino has enough of a lead to hold it for long enough for him to take his final pit stop.
Doing a 3-stop, or no, still 2-stop. He didn't pit the first time.
Andrew Kreider's back in the pits, so something caused him to go off sequence. So that's going to ruin his day.
Very unfortunate for him.
45's now under 4 seconds back, but the gap we really need to be watching is the gap between the 11 and the 81. JT Boyd, though, is going to try and make a pass. Michael Harvin's going to try and send it 3 wide on the inside. He's going to get under.
Oh, goodness.
Barry's up the racetrack, and Harvin's going to get both of them off the corner.
Blake as well, maybe.
Ashley Blake following in the 52 car. And now she wants 3rd place away from Michael Harvin, and she is easily going to get it.
Yeah, that's allowed Holly Martin to close up.
Yeah, Martin's now under the 11. The 18 has caught back up to this group. And it's the groups here at Chicagoland, when they're grouped up, it's just absolute chaos among the pack. You see tons of crazy moves being made, but I tell you what, this 52 car, this is the fastest we've seen this 52 all year.
Yeah, no
Especially with
doubt.
Ashley Blake driving it. This could be a great opportunity for this entire race team. She's now 4.8 seconds back of Gino. I don't... again, I'm not sure. They're not quite gaining enough to really make a dent in the lead this time, but we'll have to see if,
Now.
as the tires wear out more, if they start to gain in more. 4.5. The 45 is 3.3 seconds back now. This 81 definitely has the most worn out tires in the field, but he's holding his lead so far.
Gino definitely needs a run like this today after what happened in the Lumen 500. He's being very aggressive still.
And he's got the 18 right behind him, so Dearman, he really wants to pass this 11 car. That's crucial for the championship to at least gain some amount of points on him, because pretty much everybody at the top has been losing points to Tim Berry for the last few weeks. Not a ton of points, but like enough to where he's slowly growing his lead every week. And Dearman needs to make sure that doesn't happen again. So priority number one for him is definitely getting past this 11 car.
Thought Holly Martin had enough room around underneath the 18, but it doesn't look like she does. Trying to help her teammate, seems like. Berry right now, when he made that pass, was looking to play offense and defense at the same time. Get around a couple of those cars, pick up another position, but also keep Dearman behind him as Martin gets underneath the 18.
Let's see if she makes a stick here in 3 and 4. She slides up a bit on exit, but it looks like she might get underneath the 18 here and make the pass on him, so that'll help out Tim Berry a little bit. Back here, it looks like Akia Tajima's just broken the top 10. I was just about to talk about Rebecca Raymond still being in the top 10. She just lost that spot, but this is still a great run for Raymond. Up in 11. Under pressure from Kate Summers right now, but you know, this is the kind of run that she needed. She's been having a rough season, and these kinds of runs go a long way when you're struggling to qualify for races.
Yeah, definitely. And also, shout out to George Bryan. If those pit road issues didn't happen, I think he would be in a very good place right now. But very unfortunate, and a second caution hasn't come out all day after that first big incident.
Yeah, they're a lot more spread out now than they were earlier in the race. Corbin Tapp seems like he's gained a few spots. He's up to 16th. Johnny McJasmine has slipped back here. Karina Willis-Calloway has not had a good day today. She's been nowhere. So that's unfortunate for her. Your pole sitter is back here. Hold on a second. Look at those gaps.
It's down to a second.
Here comes Harvin, and it's 2.6 back to Blake, and Blake is actually pulling away from this group that Dearman is now leading, but Martin is back under him again. These 5 have been in a ferocious battle for positions these last few laps. I mean,
Dearman cannot hang on.
You've got the top 2 in the championship in here, so it makes sense. But these gaps are closing.
Oh, Berry slid up a bit.
James Harvin is there. Here he comes, and the number 45. He's going to be underneath the 81 before you know it. Lap number 48. Gino running the low lane, taking that line away from Harvin, but Harvin's going to try to cross over turn 4. Gino's going to block him.
Oh, perfect move, but now Harvin has room underneath into turn 1.
Gino's going to try and make the outside work here through 1 and 2, but it's not going to be enough. Harvin is going to take the lead, but the 52 is closing in on them both. We'll see if Blake ends up being a factor here.
I don't think Gino can fight with the 45 right now. His tires are just way too worn out.
Yeah, the goal right now for Gino is just to stay as close to the 45 as possible and then pit before him like you've been doing. Keep on that strategy and you will get that gap back. And that's what he's doing right now, just trying to stay in the tire tracks of James Harvin. Blake's still closing. Berry and Martin have cleared this pack. Dearman is now under fire from JT Boyd. Boyd's had a pretty weird season this year. He hasn't really been up front in that many races, but he is still 12th in points, so he's been pretty consistent, but hasn't really shown winning pace this year so far. This is probably the fastest that the 77 has been, and he's still running in 7th, so maybe a slight step down for that 77 team, but they're still pretty formidable, and they're pretty consistent. And this could be a good run for Boyd to get back in the top 10 in the standings.
A little bit of a sophomore slump as Blake closing in on Gino right now.
Martin now underneath the 11. Dearman is broken away from Boyd and the others.
That could help Dearman if he catches up, but I don't think he is.
Blake's not closing in as much as she was earlier. She's only gaining about a 10 per lap, so...
It looked like Martin and Barry were kind of closing in on the 52 as well.
Yeah, they probably were. Because I believe they pitted after the 52, so they should have fresher tires, but the 18 trying to reel these two McPickey cars back in. Once again, trying to get past that 11. Gino's been doing a good job staying with the 45. Can't let him get out too far, but he stayed within half a second of the 45 car, just staying in his draft here, so he's doing what he needs to do to make this strategy work. And we're probably going to see... We're probably going to see the 81 coming to the pits any moment now. Look at his lap times compared to his fast lap.
Oh, yeah. They're like 2 seconds off.
It's just over a second. So, yeah, we're going to see the 81 come in here soon. Blake's now losing time to James Harbin. So that 52 car, maybe she wore out her tires too quickly and she's starting to fade a little bit.
And it's going to have to try to play some defense, maybe.
Yeah. It's pretty calm now at the front. Not really much going on up here. Just kind of preparing ourselves for the last cycle. Not quite sure. I imagine the last cycle will start on cue with the 81 car in a couple of laps. But we're going to see some guys really try to stretch it as far as they possibly can. I don't think anyone's going to be able to stretch to the end of the race. But we might see some cars come in at the very end and only take a splash of fuel. So... And that's what got Gino the lead last year before he lost it to George Bryan. Gino can't really try that strategy here, though. He's going to have to come in and pit a second time. But, we might see somebody try that, and maybe they'll make it work this time.
Oh, here comes Barry.
Barry underneath the 6 of Martin. They're both going to go up the track because Gino's coming in. So here we go. Here's our final pit cycle, starting with 11 laps to go. Gino's the first one in, as he was in the first cycle. And now the question is, who's next?
Wonder if it's going to be maybe Blake or Boyd next? I'm not sure. Probably Taps. Or is Barry coming in?
I don't imagine these. I don't imagine these.
Caution's out.
Caution is out. We have a yellow. What for? Oh, it's for Taps.
Oh, it's Taps.
On the backstretch. Damage on both ends of the 16 car. And that is going to screw over Jack Gino.
That is unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate.
He's probably going to go a lap down from that. He might get it back, but we'll see. Well, there goes the strategy, because now everyone's going to come in here. The thing is, with so few laps left, do you think we might see somebody try and take a gamble and only take 2?
I think we might. Saw that on the first yellow flag. Some people stay out, some people take fuel only. Maybe some of these drivers will this time under caution.
I'm watching Blake in the back there. She took 2 tires.
I think Boyd also took 2 tires, maybe.
I think everyone else is also taking 2. Boy, it's a real bottleneck in the pits back there. The 55 just got run into by the 65. Boyd's going to get out of the pits first, though. Was that a strategy call, or was that just a really fast stop? Oh, we had some. The 35 did not take tires at all. Neither did Boyd.
Yeah, I think the Boyd.
Just a splash of fuel for the 77.
Yeah. Very interesting strategy.
George Bryan will get the free pass. It looks like Gino might have managed to stay on the lead lap. But he is well down the running order now. Where is Gino? There he is. Are we sure he's on the lead lap?
I don't know.
And since it's less than 10 to go, the lap cars will be mixed in with the lead lap cars.
Yeah,
I
that'll
think.
be interesting. See what the order says.
Gino's on the lead lap, so he's cycled back to 8th. So that means Brian's going to get the free pass under the caution. Well, we're going to show you a replay of what happened to Corbin Taps to bring out the caution, and then we'll get you back to the restart late in the race here at Chicagoland. Well, here's what happened to Corbin Taps. Entering turn number 1, Adrian Wheeler battling for 15th. Overruns the corner and just absolutely runs him over. Very similar to the qualifying accident that Jake Sidney and Michael Harvin got into. Like, almost exactly that accident. And Corbin Taps ends up in the wall. Just got dumped in turn 1. Wheeler just sent it too hard, and Taps ends up getting the worst of it. And that is going to set up a very interesting restart here late in the going here at Chicagoland. Looked like we were going to have a pit strategy finish. Well, we can kind of throw that out the window, although we did have a couple cars do some interesting things in the pits. So we'll see how all that ends up.
So Taps and Wheeler kind of igniting a little bit of an old rivalry. Taps trying to clear Wheeler. Wheeler was like, nope, you're not getting this spot, buddy, and kind of just wrecks him out. And poor Taps, he hasn't really done much today. He tried that strategy with Gino under the first caution, and it's just been kind of at the back all day, and that's going to ruin his race some more. And we're going to be setting up for an interesting restart here soon after pit stops.
Welcome back here at Chicagoland. We've got 6 laps to go here on this restart. Nobody was taken out due to the accident in turn 2 that brought out this yellow flag. JT Boyd is your current leader, but he did not take tires on that last restart, or on that last caution. Tim Berry did. He's in 2nd. Ashley Blake is in 3rd. Zach Dearman is 4th. Holly Martin 5th. Rebecca Raymond, Michael Harvin, Jack Gino, Shauna Everett, and Akia Tajima are rounding out the top 10. Gino did get back on the lead lap, but he's still behind a few cars, so that caution still wasn't good for him. But back in the gas they go. Green flag is back out, and already they're trying to pass the 77 of Boyd. Barry going around the outside. Blake going down to the inside.
And that's going to maybe screw over Barry.
Here comes Blake for the lead, down on the inside of the 52.
To the inside.
With the push from Zach Dearman. Dearman maybe trying to stick it 3 wide. He wasn't able to. The 11's going up the track. And Boyd's now coming into the pits.
Boyd's coming in. That strategy did not work at all for him.
So now, Ashley Blake in the 52 is the leader. Zach Dearman in 2nd. Tim Berry in 3rd. Dearman looking to the inside of Blake.
Now he's trying to get the lead, maybe. Nope.
This would be a big win for Zach Dearman, but this would be an even bigger win for Ashley Blake, who has had a nightmare of a season. A victory would cure all remedies, that's for sure. And she is out in front with 4 laps to go at Chicagoland. Jack Gino making moves in the back on the 6th. That was almost contact.
That was almost bad.
He's up to 5th. He's trying to make some moves to get back up to the front. Barry now looking to the inside of Dearman.
Dearman cannot let Barry by. He's trying to
shut the door on him. He's still got the nose underneath. This is exactly what the 52 likes seeing in her mirror. They're fighting each other. They're not fighting her. 3 laps to go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Blake could just kind of pull away here and maybe cruise to the finish, but we'll see here if the 11 has anything for the 52.
Here comes the 81, making it 3 wide. Shauna Everett, the other Blake Everett car, is also up here. Gino's going to make the pass on Martin.
We all thought that caution coming out screwed over Gino, but it hasn't at all. Look at him fly through the field.
He is absolutely zooming through. He's now underneath his teammate for third. And Tim Berry's trying to close in on Blake. He's got 2 laps to get to her. 3 wide behind. As Darren Walker passes a couple cars to get to fourth. Here comes Gino to the inside of Berry. Berry's going to pull the block.
Shut the door. And now he's going to slide up, though.
Up the track he goes. Here comes Gino. He's got a run.
Oh,
the white flag is out. 1 lap to go. Can Ashley Blake hold them all off? Here comes Gino to the inside.
Gino, what a race. What a
and
restart.
Here comes Darren Walker out of nowhere.
Now.
They're going to go side by side. Blake's going to lose the race, but who's going to win? Darren Walker trying to win.
On the last lap again?
Trying to win 2 of the last 3 races, and Gino is looking at another loss on the final lap.
Oh my
Walker's
goodness!
Gonna complete the pass, and Darren Walker's gonna take the checkered flag at Chicagoland. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it. Oh my goodness, what a finish.
Another spectacular finish at Chicagoland, and for the 2nd year in a row, Jack Gino loses it on the last lap in turn 3. I thought he had it. I thought he had it once he passed the 52. I was just about to go. He's going to get redemption for last year. And then Darren Walker, out of absolute nowhere, steals the win.
Yeah, Walker really came from nowhere. Nobody expected him to win today, but he somehow pulled it off. And now he's heading to victory lane.
His last 3 finishes, 1st, 2nd, 1st. And he is
That's
our
first. Help him in the points.
That is our first repeat winner. Dearman fell all the way down to 20 seconds. Something might have happened to him. Did he come in and pit at the end? So, once again, Tim Berry's going to build that lead out even further. I am scared to see what that margin is now because, I mean, it's race number 11, but like, given where the 18 finished, where the 85 is, she finished last. This championship could potentially already be over. But wow, what an exciting finish. Chicagoland never fails to disappoint, and LSCI definitely another instant classic. Darren Walker gets the win. And we're going to save the replay and stuff here. Jack Gino, Tim Berry, Ashley Blake, you got to feel gutted for her. She took the white flag in first, ended up in 4th, but that's still a fantastic day for her and her teammate, Shauna Everett, both finishing in the top 5. So, you know, it could have been a win. It could have been a historic win for Blake Everett Motorsports. I know there were probably a lot of people rooting for her to win here, but 4th and 5th is still nothing to sneeze at. Holly Martin, James Harvin, Akia Tajima, Michael Harvin, and Kevin DuPont round out the top 10. Shout out to the Pacific Racing teammates, Vinny Scholes, Gianni McJasmine. That's McJasmine's best ever LSCI finish. Shout out to the Connie Twins Motorsports teammates, 14th and 15th as well. They weren't really anywhere in this race, but they salvaged some good results. But wow, what a finish to this race. Anthony, can you break down what we saw here today?
Well, that was a pretty exciting race, especially on some of the restarts there where we got 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide, and the strategy was also interesting as well. I wish that could have kind of played out, but the final restart was definitely very exciting. Seeing Jack Gino fly through the field, it seemed like he had a chance to get redemption, but then Darren Walker really just came out of nowhere and stole the win away. Gino's got to be like, how am I supposed to win at this racetrack? This is twice that has happened. Just all around a very exciting race here today.
That's the 2nd year in a row. Gino's been leading on the last lap and has not gotten the win. So that's got to be frustrating for Jack Gino. 2nd's still good for him. It looked like his race was over basically because of that yellow, but he managed to recover, get all the way to 1st, only to lose at the end. But that was one of the most exciting finishes that I've ever seen. There were 2 passes for the lead on the final lap. That is something you do not see every day. Definitely something you don't see at every racetrack. And that was a very exciting watch from start to finish. And next week we're going to be going to Mosport, which is a very interesting road course. Anthony, you co-commed that race last year, so I think nobody's better qualified than you to tell us what to expect for that race.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was, well, it's definitely a road course, so we're turning right and left a little bit. And it was pretty exciting. Wheeler, I think, won last year due to some strategy. Uh, yeah, there's some strategy involved with that track, and there was some good racing as well. And I bet you guys are going to be pretty excited for that when we get to Canada.
Yeah, that's gonna be a pretty good race. Boyd had the lead with 2 laps to go in that race, ended up losing the race to Adrian Wheeler. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff happening at that racetrack. But I mean, the last few races we've had here in LSCI have been absolutely fantastic, and this one was no exception. Once again, congratulations to Darren Walker and Walker Brothers Racing on becoming the first 2-time winners in 2025. And of all the drivers to do it, Darren Walker, I mean, like, he's a pretty good driver, but you don't really expect him winning a bunch of races. And he's been on an absolute heater these last 3 weeks. And, if he didn't have such a rough start to the season, I'd be calling him a championship contender. But who knows? Maybe if Tim Berry starts to tumble, Darren Walker could reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of the championship contenders today kind of struggled, and that's going to help Darren Walker kind of vault up the point standings. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe Darren Walker becomes a rival to Tim Berry. We'll see.
Yeah, Berry's still going to be clear ahead of everybody else, but he had a big points lead last year as well, and he ended up he ended up throwing that away and ended up not winning the championship. So nothing is impossible, but it's just been incredible how consistent Tim Berry has been. I mean, we're 11 races in and he hasn't finished worse than 13th. It really feels like nothing bad can happen to him. He's just been deadly consistent in a way that I've never seen in LSCI before. But we're going to be watching that we're going to be watching this historic season play out for him for sure. Uh, but that's going to do it for today's broadcast. Thank you, Anthony, for joining me in the booth, kind of last minute. We had someone else scheduled, but he wasn't able to make it. But so I really appreciate Anthony coming on board and helping us out. And on behalf of Anthony, this is Brennan Wilmington of the Left Turn Network signing out. Here are your point standings after race 11 of 28, which will be on your screen right now.